Let's stick with transportation for just a minute. TriMet voted to increase fares on the MAX and buses starting next year. It's the first time they've raised fares in more than a decade. Prices have stayed the same since 2012. But this week, TriMet's board decided it is time for an increase, and it's going to take effect in January. The increase is 30 cents per ride. Right now, you pay $2.50 for up to 2.5 hours or $5 for the entire day. Next year, that price goes up to $2.80 for 2.5 hours, and the day pass will be $5.60. Honored citizens and youth pass prices are going up as well. But if you buy a monthly pass, which costs $100 now, the price will not go up. It's going to stay the same. TriMet says inflation made it necessary to raise prices, but a lot of folks are not happy with that, especially because a substantial portion of TriMet riders are people who have lower incomes and people with disabilities,
which will result in decreased ridership, increased traffic congestion, increased air pollution, and hasten climate chaos. Your studies and their testimony spoke to the huge equity and climate justice issues underlying today's decision. A fare increase will pose hardship for many low-income, working poor, elderly, and disabled riders. My partner, who uses transit daily for work, noted how illogical it is to keep passes at the same rate while charging more for those who barely scrape by and can't afford an annual or monthly pass up front.
Our budget for the next fiscal year does have a fare increase that will help fund the first big package of improvements for Forward Together service plan. These are improvements to provide to you, our riders, especially those with low and limited incomes, better connections for more people to reach more jobs and places throughout our region. It calls for buses arriving more often and earlier and later times in the day.
TriMet says they want to increase service over the next few years and that their operating costs have gone up in the past decade. At the same time, fewer people are riding and using transit. TriMet says they only have about 62% of the riders they had before the pandemic. The numbers are starting to rebound. They say they gave about 4.8 million rides in April. That's up 15% over last year, and that's with a 3-week construction disruption on the MAX line. Last year, they had to reduce service on several bus lines. They're struggling to find workers, and they had to increase pay in order to try and hire more people. In the end, TriMet's board voted 6-1 that yes, they needed to increase the fares. Now, they do have a discount program in place for people with low incomes, but people at the meeting said it just wasn't a very good solution.
And I know that claims have been made that discounts will be available for low-income individuals and families, and to that I respond that the poor are not circus animals. We shouldn't have to jump through hoops on your command to access basic services and needs. And you may not know this, but it can be a cumbersome process to access discount programs, which often require filling out confusing paperwork, traveling across town to a benefits office, and waiting in long lines. And these requirements are especially challenging for those who speak other languages, those who already have limited access to transportation, and those who are time poor due to having to work long hours or juggle multiple jobs.
Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler also asked TriMet not to raise fares. He's been championing for the last few weeks to reduce things like city taxes and fee increases. It's his attempt to stop people, he says, from moving away from Portland. He wrote, "While I appreciate and understand the stated reasoning behind the proposed increases, I firmly believe many Portlanders today are being priced out. Although individual rate increases may seem minor, the collective impact of tax, utility rate, and fee increases by multiple regional public and private agencies results in financial hardship for many Portlanders." Many people opposed to the fare hike argue the public transit should just be free. They believe transportation is a public service, much like the library or the fire department. It is an idea that's taking hold in some cities. In 2019, Kansas City, Missouri made its buses and streetcars free to the public, and so did Worcester, Massachusetts. And starting later this summer, Washington, D.C. is making its bus rides free. San Francisco and Denver, both working on pilot programs where transit rides would be free for some riders in some cases. At least one TriMet board member said he does like that idea, but doesn't think it would work here. What do you think? Should public transit be free to riders but funded with tax dollars, or should TriMet raise rates and try to improve service? or maybe something else? We want to hear your thoughts. Send them to us, will you? The address is thestory@kgw.com, or call and leave a voicemail. The number is 503-226-5090.